There is nothing more powerful than the truth. It makes us free. The time has come to liberate ourselves. All of us human beings are born with rights that no law and no government grants us, and that no law or government can take from us. All of us human beings have the right to be happy. To make our dreams come true. To exist and live a fulfilling life. A free life. To live in peace. To all of that which makes us grow. Those are our natural rights. If a person, government or corporation impedes our enjoyment of these rights, it is correct to disobey and refuse cooperation with them. When the world strikes against those rights, the people organize themselves and knock down regimes in a matter of days. When they lose their fear. Because they can decide it and because this is true democracy. In Mexico these rights are not respected. Thousands die every year from hunger and from violence. Millions migrate because they are unable to reach their dreams here in this chaotic environment. Millions live in poverty, whilst others profit off of them and become rich millionaires. Mexico is a living oxymoron. Now the most uneven country compared to the world, where you can find both the richest and poorest people. Mexico possesses a great wealth in natural resources, and to the eyes of the world it would seem that it is a country in celebration. With nice beaches and people with sombreros, smiling, living life like soap operas portray. Where despite being poor we are happy. But those of us who live here know that that is not the case. We know this is a country where more people die of hunger and war than the number of casualties in Iraq or Syria. Where great crimes and massacres have taken place. We know that justice is non-existent, for example, considering the ABC daycare incident and the tens of thousands of disappeared people. We know it is a country where the most rich men in the world have become immensely rich, with the natural resources that belong to us and where at one point everyone has property. Carlos Slim, Emilio Azcárraga, Roberto Hernandez, Guillermo Valeria and many more who now appear on the lists of the richest millionaires, did not create their fortune as other businessmen have. They did not invent a method or create an idea, they did not create a business from scratch, they did not fight like the pioneers to reach an ideal. They did not forge their corporations with the sacrifice of one who rises from the bottom. All of them have something in common. They received a gift from Mexican presidents which made them immensely rich. Most of them received this gift from Carlos Salinas in the 90s, when at bogus prices they received national goods such as gold, silver and carbon mines. Gifts like Mexican telephone corporations and national banks. Gifts so infuriating such as clean water deposits. In the 1930s Miguel Ailman conceded full control of national television to the grandfather of Emilio Azcárraga. Mexico is also the country which consumes more Coca-Cola on the planet. It is the country that sells the most bottled water thanks to the resources granted to the beverage industry and Nestle. It is the country with the highest commissions, which charges for everything, even including withdrawal of your paycheck. It is the country where the most women die from violence per year, the country with the highest rates of violence against journalists and social network users in the world. Mexico is also one of the countries where a sophisticated monitoring system for social networks is functioning. The result of these gifts to their corporate friends in creating the false free trade agreement has resulted in 3 economic crises, in which millions of people lost their homes and properties, many committing suicide. This has given as a result that while these businessmen have become immensely rich, Mexico actually has 80 million people living in poverty, 100,000 dead from the war on drugs, and is also the country with highest obesity from junk food and soft drinks. Mexico is also a paradise for a myriad of bankers and credit stores who in debt and commission from your paychecks to fatten themselves. In the 90s not only they benefit from the friends of Carlos Salinas, they also eliminated many school subjects, such as civics, and in the years that followed this caused major destruction in public education. This was deliberately done to ensure the people would remain ignorant, so that they would not know their rights and would accept the abuses that now seem so normal without complaining. Also in the 90s, the FOBAPRO was created, an elegant form of saving banks and corporations instead of supporting thousands of citizens who lost everything in the crisis. Even now in 2013 we are still paying it. Does that tell you something? We all know this, and it would seem that reality cannot be changed. It would seem we must wait 6 years to vote and change the governing body, making it seem like it's always been like this. It would seem this great power is indestructible. In reality, power is quite fragile. And this power has shaken before when we willed it. During natural disasters, the Mexican people have demonstrated we do not need neither the government or television. In those moments the military remembers they have their origin in the people and we help each other. This power in reality is weak because it depends totally on you to keep existing. It feeds from you, from your work, from your fear, from your thirst, from your necessities. It is a fearsome power because they know if you discover the truth you will be tempted to free yourself. And they will simply disappear because you will no longer be feeding them. This power sustains itself from pillars, and all that is needed is to simply take those pillars away, to watch them fall on their own. And we have done it before. In 2009, while the world saw as Mexico was paralyzed by the outbreak of influenza, the television and government wanted to hide the origin of the disease located at the Carroll Farms. Thanks to social media, it was found that the corruption of the government of Veracruz helped the birth of this infection. Also in 2009, when social networking started to cause problems, taxes on the internet were proposed. This is how the necessary internet movement, which helped stop this law, was born. That same year, with the movement born on the blogs of Voto Nulo No Vote, all of us organized together were able to make a political party completely disappear, and the largest organized vote against politicians online was registered. In 2010, when television and the government wanted to hide the tragedy of the ABC daycare center, it was thanks to the World Wide Web. What the case has not been forgotten, and a movement in search of justice continues. Last year the students of Yo Soy 132 demonstrated how powerful taking action and telling the truth could be, online. Televisa lost 29% of its earnings thanks to the protests, as it pointed out in its latest financial report. This year we were able to make President Peña Nieto return from his vacations in Punamita, to attend the explosion of the Pemex Tower. Thanks to the pressure online, they removed Daddy Profeco from his duties as well. In Egypt, as the social networks were able to dethrone Hosni Mubarak, this was also possible in Iceland and many other places around the world. When we have organized massively to tell the truth, changes have taken place. And that is what we are going to do on this occasion. We are going to knock down this enormous monster that feeds off your necessities and takes advantage of you. We can destroy it in a few days if we organize ourselves. This plan will only work if you listen closely to the steps provided. We can only make this work if we act together. Can you imagine if all the causes, all of the fights and movements organized in one? The enemy would not be that powerful. They are only 20 men against millions. This apparently large power of millionaires who buy politicians and impose laws and government, is sustained by many pillars. And so these pillars may remain strong. They put large amounts of money and resources into these pillars every day. The pillars are the commissions, the lies and fear. The antidote is non-compliance, telling the truth and being brave. The commissions are the ones they charge you when they deposit your wages on a card, the rates when they give you a credit line, the rounding of charges and the hidden fees on receipts. And you accept them without knowing that you can use a check or cash. That you can refuse to pay for hidden fees. Their pillars are the thousands of lies they say every day on television to instill fear and cause division among us. Their pillars are the fear they have provoked among us and the infiltrations they have made into our protests to cause violence, thereby scaring anyone who could rebel with us. We have been able to make corrupt political parties disappear, make Televisa lose earnings and make politicians resign with such small efforts. Could you imagine if we all stopped sustaining their pillars at once? Article 39 of the actual Mexican Constitution gives us the right to create a new government in the moment we wish to do so. That is why from Anonymous and other collectives we have prepared a series of actions from June 1st to July 1st, to use our right and tell the truth. For these pillars to fall and everyone to stop cooperating with them, we need to know the truth in the country and in the world. That way citizens of the world and your neighbors will know what is happening and their eyes will open. You can support us. When you discover what the government has been doing to us this whole time, we will reach the necessary support and it will be easier to express our right described in Article 39 of the Constitution, to create a new government using collective power. This is the Plan 1. Spread and denounce. The world and your neighbor should know the truth about what is happening in Mexico, and this should be visible. It must be seen on all the walls, all the schools, all businesses, all pedestrian bridges, all websites, all public media, all blogs and all social networks. At opdesobdiencia.wordpress.com you can find hundreds of data and images ready that will serve to create a massive information campaign on the streets and online. You can also share your own. Translate them into all languages. Get ready to do it en masse on Friday night, May 31st, so that June 1st blankets, stickers, paint and network messages exposing the truth are all over the country and public places. Also on the page you will find an unhackable map that will receive complaints throughout the operation and leaks of all cases of corruption, violence and things the government wants to hide. If you work in a bank and know of shady business deals, you can report it there anonymously. If you work in government and know a politician and their dirty business, you can share it on the map. If you work in a store owned by one of these millionaires, you can report it. If you know of a missing person, if you know of any hidden injustice, on the map we will all know the reality of what is happening across the country. So the world will know the magnitude of what is happening. On the night of May 31st, from 8 p.m. we will announce the hashtag to spread these truths. 2. Disobey. As of June 1st, do not cooperate with them. Leave a message written on each of their establishments. If you live in Mexico City, do not pay the electricity, as the Federal Electricity Commission with their high rates operates illegally after the disappearance of the Light and Power Company. You can defend yourself against them. Leave a poster with the image of the disobedience in establishments, paste it into the products within theaters and supermarkets that belong to these millionaires, who bought the votes and bought politicians. We have 30 days to make our discontent visible. 3. Do not be afraid. Protest and participate in the citizen plebiscite July 1st. Article 39 gives us the power to choose a new system when we want, and we do not have to play their game every 6 years during elections, as they have lied to us. As of June 15th, modules will be installed in the street and online to receive signatures, and the more votes we get the better. Organize and participate as a volunteer for this query because it is legal under Article 39. On the page you will find the details. On June in some cities we will take to the streets in the first protests headed for a large national protest on July 1st in every city and headquarters of these corporations, where we will announce the result of the plebiscite and announce to the world that organized citizens of Mexico, fed up with the corruption, violence and death, have decided to change their government. By means of television and the government tactics, the government will want to infiltrate this movement, trying to provoke violence so they can use the police and army against us. This is because they fear that this truth be known by the police and military, who are also victims of the system. The infiltrated will say we dream and that we are weak because we will not support violence, but when they say it, it will be a sign that we are doing it well. From June 1st, we will be letting everyone know about the protests that we will be participating in at the headquarters of the companies at fault and the homes of former presidents to remind them of what they did. For years we have been exploited. Many have left the country because of its greed, millions have been impoverished and starved to death. Many have died by violence and corruption. Little do they know that once they became immense millionaires, they created us, its antidote. Thanks to the internet, others who have not been afraid in the past and others who are becoming free around the world, we have decided to act. Spread this message and these actions to all your contacts and networks. Freedom is coming. Expect us.